Hi, everyone. This is Charles Hoskinson broadcasting live from warm, sunny Colorado. Always warm, always sunny, sometimes Colorado. Today is December 9th, 2021, and I'm back in the office briefly. It was kind of a truncated week, and on Friday, till next Friday, I'm doing something quite special. I've never done this before, but it comes highly recommended. A lot of people said, "Hey, since you meditate, you should go to one of those meditation retreats." And I said, "Well, what exactly do you do at a meditation retreat?" And they say, "Nothing." So what do you mean? I say, "Nothing at all." So I've signed up for a retreat, go up to the mountains, and you basically spend an entire week in rough silence and solitude. Can't speak for an entire week. First time in my life. Many people say I talk too much. So this is the first time ever where I get to actually enjoy doing nothing but 12 hours a day of sitting meditation, walking meditation, standing meditation, nature walks, all of these types of things. So it'll be a heck of a lot of fun, and we'll see what transformative changes it provides. Now, part of this means that I go on a complete digital detox as well, which means I don't even get to have my phone. So, old Charles will be all alone in the middle of damn nowhere, somewhere in the mountains, enjoying a week-long solitude. And hopefully, it has some value and other such things. And actually, some books I wanted to show you guys. So, first off, they said for recommended reading, John Kabat-Zinn is apparently the guy. So, there's a book called Coming to Our Senses, Healing Ourselves and the World Through Mindfulness. And it's, as you can see, quite a large book. Normally I do these things on Kindle, but you're not allowed to bring any digital devices. So that's going to be interesting. And the other book I wanted to bring was a little bit out there is Math Art, Truth, Beauty, and Equations. And it's actually kind of a fascinating book and talks about all kinds of different things like the math of infinity and the traveling salesman problem. So algorithmic art and these things. Let's see what else here. Fractals. You guys love fractals. Everybody loves fractals. I haven't met anybody that doesn't like it. The tangled, tortuous universe of fractals. Look at that. So we'll have a chance to explore all of that too. It's good to keep the mind open and in these things. Anyway, it's a brief reminder that we work so hard in life. This year, I think I put in more hours than any year I've ever done before. It was a very busy year. Thousands of meetings. I traveled, even though it's COVID, to almost a dozen countries. Lots of professional stuff, thousands and thousands of emails, and such a diversity of things. Things related to my biotech company, things related to like bringing back the woolly mammoth, things like the Cardano launches, for example, Goguen. We hired 150 people, and everything was always so busy and so busy and so distracting. And I thought a lot about what I missed the most because the year's coming to an end, and you always reflect. What did we learn from January to December? And what I missed the most was the ability to just sit and deeply focus. It was something I did in my early 20s. I was very, very into this. You'd sit down with some concept, some philosophy, some idea, and you'd spend 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours straight lost in absolute deep thought, exploring it, kind of like a new island that you shipwreck on, and you have no idea what to expect. And you get off the beach and you go into the jungles, and you have no idea what the birds are, what the animals are, if the water is good, if it's bad. Will you find shelter? That's the magic of problems, and that was something that was a dear friend of mine throughout many years of my 20s. Becoming a CEO, it's a blessing because you get to travel. Been to more than 70 countries now, and I've seen so much of the world, and I've met so much of the world, from heads of state to kings and princes to rock stars, all these things, these great experiences. And as a CEO, you every 15 minutes get to put on a new mask and play a new role. Some days I wake up and I'm in a crisis management. Other days I'm a technician. Other days I wake up, I'm a researcher. Other days I wake up, I'm a businessman. It's different every single day. You have some decision you have to make. Sometimes decisions involving billions of dollars, decisions involving people's entire careers, and so forth. And that's great. But the problem is that because you are so focused for just a moment, and then you have to move on to something else, you lose the ability to do deep work, and you lose the ability to concentrate and focus for long periods of time. So that's one of the reasons why I'm trying this experiment of going out and spending an entire week in silence and solitude. Alan Watts certainly had a lot to say about the value of that. And hopefully it restores that peace. The other side is that there's a lot of things that Silicon Valley likes to try, and some aren't so crazy. And one of them is called a dopamine detox. So while these things have dramatically enhanced our connectivity and our ability to do things, in some cases productivity, they actually are engineered for addiction. So when you look at the infinite scroll feature of YouTube or Facebook or these things where you're just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, that's actually built as a psychological game to maximize the amount of time you spend in the interface. Because there's this unpredictability of when you're going to see a video that you like, and then you click it. So a lot of people actually have written books about this and the consequences of these constant dopamine rushes, these neurochemical rushes that really do interfere with the quality of your life, and they leave you hedonically vacuous. You're eventually unable to feel pleasure, or at least things that should be fun aren't anymore because of the engineering of these systems. So what I've heard is when people go on these solitary things, they actually reset completely, and it has a big effect on the brain waves, a big effect on neurochemistry. So who knows? It's as much of an experiment as it is fun activity, and I can't wait to see it. I will miss you guys while I'm gone for a week. It's kind of sad. I love doing AMAs. I love interacting with you guys over Twitter, and I can't even look at a phone. There's no computers, no digital devices. It's very, very much off the grid, out in the middle of nowhere. And that's the point. But hopefully, I get to come back and be a little more gentle and maybe not let the trolls bother me quite as much. But I figured I'd make a quick video to let you guys know the latest experiment. The fun part of having an audience and the fun part of having a community is that you don't do things alone. You share these things with everybody else. Over the last 6 years, we've become like one big family in a certain respect. I've gotten to meet so many remarkable people. There isn't a week that goes by that I don't get a letter or an email or a message from somebody in the community wishing me well, offering me advice, or at the very least, giving some strategy or something like that about what ought to be done with Cardano. And I've started to realize how much I love that and I appreciate that. It's easy to stay young and it's easy to stay inspired when you're bolstered up by the hopes, dreams, admiration, respect, thoughts, and prayers of so many people. From the very young, I've received letters from people as young as 4 years old to the very old. I've received a letter once from a woman who was 101 years old. And she made a point to say that she wrote it herself and she still uses a computer. Which is pretty remarkable when you think about that. And that's such a great range. And all along the way, I've learned so much, and I've gained so much, wisdom from book recommendations to lifestyle recommendations to people say, "Hey, you need to take care of your health." I've had more than one doctor email me and say, "You're overweight," and we know, because we're physicians, that you're not exactly treating yourself as well as you ought to. And that's true. When I was a lot younger, I took much better care of myself. And as I got older and I became an entrepreneur, I always used the excuse of, well, I'm busy, I'm a CEO, I'm doing all these things. But the wisdom and the truth of the matter is that it begins today. And health is not just physical shape, it's also mental and spiritual shape as well. And you have to invest in all of these things. And that's kind of the point of this retreat, is to try to get to that peace in the center and really make mindfulness part of the daily routine. You can't control the winds. You can't control the ups and downs of life and the markets and these other things. And what's so crazy about our industry as a whole is it takes the best and worst of all of us and it dials it up to 11. Every single week since I joined this space, there's been a crisis and some news item, some event, some glorious thing. I've been through probably 5, 6 boom and bust cycles. I've been through the collapse of everything from Mt. Gox and Silk Road to all these other things. There's some regulatory event. There's some, China's banned Bitcoin, I think, 8 times. You got trial of the century, Craig Wright. You got everything. Every week there's something there, and it just keeps coming and coming and coming. And all these new people come in, and it's new to them, and so they react with maximum passion and excitement, for better or for worse. And then when they ride their first wave down, it's like the worst thing ever. And when they ride their first wave up, it's euphoria. And people start convincing themselves that they're smarter than they actually are. And they don't understand how much luck comes into a lot of these things. In all of that chaos, the survivors, the people who get through all of it, who prosper at all of it, they have to develop a workflow, a thought pattern, a life that allows them to be peaceful in the chaos, to live a life in the center, in the winds and the storms, and despite that, somehow kind of push through. And also remember not to forget the really important things in life: nature, your family, your friends, having empathy for others, these types of things. We're all kind of in this boat together. It's very easy in the space when you deal with so much tribalism and maximalism and so many strong opinions, where literally every single day, if you're a public figure in this industry, you get called the worst possible names, from a criminal to a sociopath to this to that, a scammer, all these things, by people who have never met you. They know very little, if anything, about you, and they hate you for no real valid reason. Every single day, you endure these things again and again and again. The hardest thing and the most rewarding thing to do, and it's something I hope I can master in the coming years, is having the ability, despite all of those things, to somehow have empathy and love for those who do these things. Don't know exactly how to quite get there. It's hard. But it is, I think, probably the pursuit of a lifetime and one of the greatest lessons. If you can love your enemies despite the fact of what they do and see through all of those things and try to identify with the pains and tribulations they have, then maybe the world will be a better place, at least for me, and hopefully for you too. So, quick video just to remind everybody that they should take a moment to take a time out and really think about that. Reminder that the holidays are here, regardless of the faith or lack thereof. There's always something to do, and it's a good time. It's been tough 2 years with COVID. It's been a tough market, and there's been so many things that we've all had to endure. But you know what? We're all still here. You're all still listening. You're all still breathing. And you all still have so many great opportunities. And the reality is that if we want, the future can be pretty sweet and pretty amazing. Nothing is written in stone. And the next 5 to 10 years, we're going to see a lot of miracles of technology and a lot of miracles of society, if we so choose to invest and build those types of things. Everything from the metaverse and all this amazing stuff with mixed reality. I heard that Apple is releasing this thing called the Kuo. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. It's going to be their VR headset. Pretty amazing. Got the M1 processor, like 8K resolution, all kinds of stuff. 350 grams, pretty light. And that's just the beginning. You got brain-computer interfaces coming. You got a lot of wonders of synthetic biology coming. Whole bunch of new drugs coming online. Make your mind work better, slow down the aging process. We're really starting to unlock and understand consciousness in the brain. and optimizing that. Flow research continues to advance day by day, and so many other things to help one live a better life and navigate life in a slightly different way. And this technology is also improving infrastructure to the point where we can share the gifts of modern society to those who haven't enjoyed it yet without destroying the world or the environment along the way. So we really can make the world a better place. And our industry plays a big role in that because we have a way of distributing resources and trust and consent without having to have powerful centralized actors who, because of their positions, hold that against us and parasitically suck the life out of society. We also can choose to focus on the bad parts of technology that's coming, the dystopian parts of it, and endow the centralized entities with even more power. It's really up to us and our philosophy, our self determination, our lack of cynicism or abundance of it. And I, for one, would like to live in a world where people get along, we have a lot of empathy, and we love each other, and there's peace. So that's the technology I build, that's the life I live. And hopefully, in a week of silence and solitude, I will learn some great lessons that I then can apply to the work that I do. And hopefully, that'll give me the ability to get back to the old days where I really enjoyed deep work and we're all the better for it. In any event, I shall see you guys next weekend and be back in the office December 20th. So until next time, have a wonderful day and take care.